I'm going to share with you a quick story that really demonstrates the power of letting go and how things can flood in, rush in, or appear instantly when we let go of the resistance. And this story is a really simple, easy way to understand why that actually happens. A couple of weeks ago, Jamie and I were planning on going to England. It was a last minute trip to the UK. Jamie needed to fly back there for work for 1 week. So I thought, okay, well, I'll go with him. We get to be together and I can work from there and see family and friends. So that was the plan. Had everything packed, or so I thought. And then just as we were about to leave for the airport, like the time we had to leave the house to go to the airport in the car, Jamie said, I found my passport, but I couldn't find yours anywhere. I was thinking, oh my God, of all the things that I packed, I haven't even thought about my passport. So I went to the usual place where it's stored and it wasn't there. Okay, I went to the second place that I could think of. It wasn't there either. Trying to stay calm, but starting to panic, I start frantically looking through every drawer, every cupboard, nothing. I go to every jacket and check every pocket, nothing. I grab every handbag out of the wardrobe, check every pocket inside every handbag, still nothing. Time is ticking. I'm starting to panic more and more. Jamie's asking, can I help? Where else can I look? We looked in every cupboard, in every folder, in case maybe I'd used my passport for some kind of, bureaucratic admin thing, paperwork thing. Absolutely nada. Couldn't find it anywhere. We're getting more and more panicked. And I kept trying to take a second just to retrace my steps and think, where was the last time I saw my passport? Where was the last time I used my passport? Where else could it be? Is there anywhere we haven't looked? However hard I tried to think, because I was in a state of panic, because my adrenaline was pumping, it was like my brain wasn't working properly and I couldn't tap into memories. I couldn't think logically or rationally. It's almost like, when you're trying to remember a dream, and then the more you think about it, the less you can remember. So by this point, I'm convinced. I have looked absolutely everywhere I can think of. And I started to believe that maybe it got stolen. Maybe I had it in my bag one day and it must have got stolen. Someone must have taken it. That is the only possible explanation. Anyway, my husband still had a plane to catch and he still needed me to drive him to the airport. So in an instant, we had to make a decision. We removed my clothes from the suitcase. We surrendered to the idea that I would not be going to England with him because we didn't have any more time. That was it. So in a flash, I switched from being in panic mode and desperately searching to surrendering to it. I was sad. I had a cry. And as I was crying, I walked to get the car keys. And I went to the place where we keep the car keys. I put my hand into the container and right there, sat underneath the car keys, was my passport. I grabbed it, I threw it into the air, I said, Jamie, I've got it! We're both jumping up and down, the dog's barking, we're all going crazy, we couldn't believe it. And the bit that we couldn't believe the most was that is exactly where the passport has been, and we both have seen it there for at least 6 months. I don't know why I put it with the car keys, but every single day when we go and reach the keys, consciously and subconsciously, we've been seeing that passport there. And I thought to myself, isn't it fascinating that when I was in that state of panic, no matter how hard I tried or how hard I thought or how frantically I searched, I couldn't find the passport, and it didn't even come to my mind to look in the place where I knew it was for the last 6 months. But as soon as I let go of that stress, that panic, that desperation to try and find it, I found it instantly. So the happy ending is we went to England together. We made the flight and it was all great. I feel like that little story demonstrates two things really well. On a sort of biological, psychological level, it demonstrates how when we are in a state of stress desperation, panic, our brain literally fogs over. We can't think as clearly as we would do if we were calm. And we can't even access the memories that we would want to be able to access. And we can't find the solutions to our situation. And on a sort of spiritual, energetic, universal level as well, when I was desperate and panic in a high state of lack and fear, I couldn't get the thing that I wanted. As soon as I let it go, it appeared instantly. So this was a cute little story about a passport. But could it be a story that actually demonstrates really simply the patterns that we might find ourselves in other parts of our lives? Is there a part of your life where you've been feeling stuck, where you feel like no matter what you do or how hard you think or how hard you try, you can't find the answer of what you're looking for? And it never seems to come. What you want never seems to come. Maybe it's relationships. Maybe you're trying, wishing, hoping, desperate, in lack and wanting a partner. And how many times have you heard of people who, the moment they just stop trying, they stop looking for a partner, they decide, you know what, I'm happy being single, I'm just going to enjoy being single for a while, then their soulmate walks into their lives. I know several people where that's happened. I've also experienced it myself where I've been really trying to force and push something to happen in my business. And then as soon as I just let go and decide to just switch off mentally from it completely for a whole day, it comes in. Perhaps you have an example of that in your life, and I would love to read your stories in the comments of any time in your life where when you let it go, when you let not just the thing go, because you can still want the thing, but you let all the stress go. You released the tension, you released the resistance, and you got yourself out of panic mode. Maybe it was because you shifted your focus. Maybe it's because you just let it go and surrendered, whatever it might have been. And then you found that it came through so easily and so much more effortlessly than it ever seemed possible. Think about any areas in your life where it really feels like there's been a lot of resistance, and see if you can let go of that resistance to let the thing in. If you want some extra help with letting go of the resistance, I've created a free meditation called the Release the Blocks meditation, and the link to download it is in the description below. It's really fantastic for helping you to identify and melt away those layers and layers and layers of crap that sometimes build up and accumulate over the subject of what we want in our life. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring my bell so that you never miss another video. Until next time, bye!